On December 27, 1892, Livingstone and Biddle College, now known as Johnson C. Smith University, played in Salisbury, North Carolina, with Biddle winning 5-0. Over time, HBCU football has evolved. HBCU football's popularity continues to rise. Millions attend games each year and millions more watch on television. The HBCU bands provide some of the top entertainment in the country. Over that time, some of the best players to ever play in the National Football League played at HBCUs. Every Monday through Friday on the HBCU Football Daily Podcast, national radio and television host Donal Ware takes a look at what's happening in HBCU football and talks with coaches, players, administrators, and media about the season. Make sure you join the conversation on social media. Now, here's your host, Donal Ware.
You've got it locked to the HBCU Football Daily Podcast for today, Tuesday, July the 25th. I'm Donal Ware, episode 2 of the 7th season of the HBCU Football Daily Podcast. And by the way, on today's SWAC Media Day in Birmingham, going to be there. I'm very much looking forward to that. And we're going to talk some SWAC football beginning next week on the HBCU Football Daily Podcast. If you didn't have a chance to watch yesterday's HBCU Football Daily Podcast, we had a chance to catch up with the head football coach of North Carolina Central, Trey Oliver. The defending HBCU national champions are the North Carolina Central Eagles. Today, we're going to take things to Salisbury, North Carolina, and Sean Gilbert in his 3rd season as the head football coach of Livingstone. And again, he was part of the countdown to kickoff, which took place in Durham, North Carolina on Saturday, July the 15th. And had a chance to catch up with Coach Gilbert during the countdown to kickoff.
So joining us, as a matter of fact, he joined us a couple of years ago in Durham on the countdown to kickoff. Sean Gilbert, now in his 3rd season as the head football coach of Livingstone, joining us here on the countdown to kickoff. What's going on, Coach Gilbert?
What's going on, buddy?
Man, I always tease you a little bit because, you know, I'm a big Washington Commanders fan now. I don't guess we did right by you in your 1 year in Washington, which was a great season. I was like, we need to re-sign him.
Might be the best on the interior.
Man.
No, I was just teasing.
I mean, man, we should have re-signed you.
We should have, man. But you know what? It's all about the business, you know. And you just want people to understand that that's what it is, and the passion and what we have for the game as players, you know, that it extends beyond that. So, you know, we wish it could have been a fairy tale happy ending, but it was what it was.
While we're on that tip, what do you take away? What most comes to your mind when you think about your career in the National Football League, Rams, Redskins as it were at the time, Panthers? I think you ended with the Raiders, if I'm not mistaken.
I think great opportunity, you know, growing up 1 out of 5 kids and single mother working nighttime jobs and overtime and never really having a chance to really be there to help give us all the support we need, but she did the best that she could. And having the vehicle of football as an opportunity to make a living, it humbles you, you know, in terms of being the size and having athletic ability to go and exhibit that amongst so many people.
When I look at taking the job at Livingstone, going back some 3 years ago, what led you to take that job at Livingstone? Because you got a lot of former NFL players that are now head football coaches at HBCUs. What led you to take that job?
Well, I think for myself, you know, it was an opportunity. I initially was trying to help my son get into school, and my relationships with a Hall of Famer there allowed me to have a good conversation, and that opened up the other door in terms of where I was, in terms of the years I had invested in just volunteer coaching at the high school level, and I was pretty much at a point where I was past that, so the opportunity and the timing of it worked out perfectly for where I was and wanting to coach at a higher level. Not necessarily trying to get to the highest level in terms of the coaching, but opportunities to give back and help young men, you know, command their rightful place and find out where they fit in society.
Your thoughts on the 2022 season? You guys were able to win 4 games last year.
Well, I mean, you know what? I mean, we're grateful for that opportunity in terms of the amount of games we won, growing as a program. but also at the same time we look at what we left on the table and opportunities that we had that we want to grow from. And, it's just a growing process. When you're building a team, you're really behind the eight ball, especially in a situation like ours with some of the stronger teams like, Fayetteville, with Virginia Union, Virginia State, Bowie, and it's not to put any of our teams down, but they do perform and demand a little bit more when it comes to the level of competition. So trying to build those building blocks so we can compete with those guys on a week-to-week basis. Our schedule is not easy. It's going to be a gauntlet for us because everybody's loading up, and everybody's got players from out of the portal that's going to help them strengthen their rosters. So, we'll still be climbing uphill. Our players understand that and understand the task that we have at hand, and we're looking forward to the opportunities that are in front of us.
Speak to some of the factors that led to winning 3 more games than you did in 2021. Only 1 win in 21, 3 more games. I mean, that's you got to feel good about that in terms of building the program.
We do. We feel good about that. Myself and my coaches do. We work hard. Naturally we don't have the full staff that a lot of people have, but we make no complaints about our efforts in terms of what we're trying to get accomplished. And going into games, sometimes we will see the teams, we could tell by size that we were going to have a fight on our hands. But my deal is to teach guys, compete and fight. There's 2 things: stay humble and hungry, and let the outcome be what it's going to be. What you can't control, you can't control. But what you can control, that's what you control. And my theory to my team is chance favors the prepared man. And so we have to look at every opportunity that we have to compete. And we don't know what the outcome might be. A team may take us for granted, and then that opens up the door of opportunity for us. So that was our approach week in and week out. And then just trying to get guys to understand, being a young football team, trying to get guys to understand what it takes week in and week out, not on a high school level, but on a college level, being that we're so young. And a lot of those guys, man, they bought into it. So it gave us opportunities. We played tough games against Winston that came down to the wire, went into overtime with Mo at Johnson C. Smith. So, and we caught Elizabeth City, we caught them off guard, being where we are. Coach Hilliard is a great coach. And so, we're just grateful for those opportunities that we had in terms of being able to come out on top.
How big was winning the last 2 games of the season for you, carrying that momentum coming into 2023?
I think it's the sauce, in terms of that, meaning that, if you want to make a good sauce, it has to marinate, and it has to sit and simmer. And for us, being able to get on a win streak, that's good. That's great for us in our program to be able to come off of a win and then still feel the adulations and take confidence back into another week. So just learning how to do it and be consistent in it. So we got our hands full coming in around the corner here, but we're going to get the axe and we're going to chop this wood and see what happens.
Speak to some of the players to watch offensively. We'll start offensively in 2023.
Well, you know what? That's one of the things you don't want to do because I don't want to give a scouting report up.
Okay.
And being that we're all at 0-0 right now,
all right.
I need every advantage that I can get right now. So I think we're young coming in at the quarterback spot, but we're getting some more athletic guys in terms of can run the ball and so forth. So it gives us that secondary option in terms of that 1 or 2 primary or secondary option isn't there initially when he's on his reads. We're fortunate to get one of the top running backs in the state, Jermichael Wells, to come, heavily recruited by everybody, and was close to leaving, but decided at the last minute he would stay home. So we're fortunate to have opportunity to have him with us. He's a big back, can tote the ball, and we really want to put a heavy emphasis on that run game this year.
And defense, I know you, but Kevin Larkins comes back.
Well, we lost Kevin Larkins. Yeah. So, but we have quite a few guys. He was a great player for us, especially coming in as a freshman and being everything that we thought he would be in terms of when we recruited him. And the thought process was that if he outperformed himself, that he would open the doors of opportunity for that, which he was recruited by, and is recruited by Kentucky as it sits. So we're grateful for that, but we still have to keep on recruiting. We went and found you had to find 3 more to replace that one because that's just how good he is. And so we're looking forward to getting those guys on the field and seeing how they'll work together to help us shoe up the secondary so that we don't get hit in the head so much like we did last offseason.
The turf, a lot was, you got the turf, the new turf. You played on that, I think, for the first time 2 years ago, 2021. So, how is it holding up? And, I mean, that's got to be a great recruiting tool. I mean, you mentioned getting one of the best backs in the state to come play it.
No, this was our first year playing on it.
It's the first year playing it. Okay. Yeah. But that's got to be a great recruiting tool to get one of the best backs in the state to come.
An amazing recruiting tool. Most folks that come to the school, they come down the hill and they see the field, and it really has an ambiance about it. We enjoy practicing on it. Our guys are excited about it. Recruits come in, it is a draw for them. And, we're telling them, the only thing you need to bring is your winning attitude to complement that, and we're going to be off to something special.
Your thoughts on? This is your 3rd year in the CIAA. Your thoughts on CIAA football?
Well, first off, I have the utmost respect for our coaches. And I know throughout our conference, guys, we work really hard and really trying to find the edge to be the top dog in the conference. And so I really enjoy our conference, the competition that's in it. And it's more than just about the football to me. It's having the opportunity to watch young men that, when I grew up, I was only PWIs were put in front of me, so we never get to see the exposure of so much talent that's behind the scenes in CIAA, the MEAC, or the SWAC as much as we should. And I think we really should look to try to expand that to give more opportunities to people to see these young men perform. So I have a lot of love and admiration for our conference. I'm grateful to have opportunity to coach in our conference. And I'm looking forward to us really competing against one another this year to take our ratings up and make people watch us play more.
And then last thought, again, mention the 5 years with the Panthers. And just kind of, speak to, because you've established a relationship in the Charlotte-Salisbury area from your time as the Panthers. And I think a lot of people can look at you in that time, look at you now at Livingstone, and it helps to raise the profile a bit of Livingstone a bit, and then ultimately helping your football program get more players and being able to win in all those. They all work hand in hand.
Well, I think so. I think that, football is a family, and but I think at the same time, we're looking for Livingstone to catch up to, the attention of the Panthers and things like that, because we're growing the program. So what you're doing is trying to gain the respect of a level of excellence. And so while everyone is watching, we're setting ourselves up for the show. And I'm grateful to have I had opportunity to play with the Carolina Panthers for 5 years and take care of my family. And I think North Carolina is an amazing place to raise a family and an amazing place to live. Just a lot of culture and a lot of good people that are going in and out that's migrated down to the city. So, we just want to just continue to build where we are, so to let the Salisbury and the Charlotte connect at some point the way we want it to.
Well, Coach Gilbert, we appreciate the time making the trip up from Salisbury. Good luck to you and the Blue Bears this season.
I appreciate it, man.
So that's going to wrap it up for today's HBCU Football Daily Podcast. Hope you enjoyed the conversation with Sean Gilbert. On tomorrow, we're going to take things to Greensboro, North Carolina, and say hello to Vincent Brown, the new head football coach at North Carolina A&T, as the Aggies join the CAA. Again, tell a couple of friends. We're trying to spread the word. Tell a couple of friends about the HBCU Football Daily Podcast. Listen, if you enjoyed this particular podcast, share it. Don't be shy. Also, follow us. If you're watching this on YouTube, become a follower of the BOXTOROW YouTube page. We got great content. In addition to HBCU sports, we've got a plethora of great conversations. But tell a couple of friends about the HBCU Football Daily Podcast, where you can find us on YouTube, I should say, or on our website at boxtorow.com, as well as iHeartMedia.com. Talk with you tomorrow.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the HBCU Football Daily Podcast. You can also listen to the podcast at BOXTOROW.com, iHeartMedia, or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to get your HBCU football fix on BOXTOROW with Donal Ware each weekend on the radio station near you, and on SiriusXM on HBCU, Channel 142, and on ESPNU Radio on SiriusXM, Channel 84. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at BOXTOROW for the latest in HBCU football, and don't forget to tell a friend.